What's up, guys? Hope everybody's all doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the big fight between Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant at super middleweight for all the belts at 168 pounds. So, hopefully, after this fight, we have an undisputed champion in the super middleweight division. This to me is going to be a very interesting and intriguing fight. I see a lot of people are just writing Caleb Plant off. In my opinion, they're all sleeping on Caleb Plant because this is a fight that I've been wanting to see since Caleb Plant beat Jose Uzcategui for the IBF belt at 168 pounds a couple of years ago. Caleb Plant was about a 2 or 3 to 1 underdog in that fight. I took the odds on Caleb Plant in that fight because I really rate Caleb Plant. I know a lot of people, they don't rate Caleb Plant. I think a lot of it's possibly due to him not, being a knockout artist and, maybe not being involved in the most exciting fans for a lot of casual boxing fans. But in my opinion, he's a very underrated and very skilled boxer. I think he has as well, a lot of the videos I do, I keep saying, this guy has some of the best legs in boxing. This guy has some of the best legs in boxing. Well, in my opinion, once again, Caleb Plant has some of the best footwork and legs in boxing. He really moves effortlessly in the ring. He's extremely light on his feet, very fast feet, fast hands as well. Got very good defense, a good jab. Overall, got a very good boxing IQ, and in my opinion, he's one of the more skilled boxers in the game right now, to be honest. Very fast reflexes. So I look at this as quite a tough challenge for both fighters, to be honest. I don't think either man's gonna find this fight to be easy. I think this is a big challenge for Canelo Alvarez as well, because I know in the last fight I said Billy Joe Saunders was gonna cause Canelo a lot of problems with his movement and being a slick southpaw. I felt like he was causing Canelo a lot of problems. It wasn't an easy fight at all for Canelo. A lot of people had that fight close, on the cards as well, up until the point Billy Joe's, eye socket got fractured, or I think that's what the injury was, and the fight got stopped. So that was a very close competitive fight as well. Billy Joe was causing him, a lot of problems, and it was a good, high-level chess match. Now, the difference is, in my opinion, Billy Joe Saunders is not a true super middleweight. I thought he was a small middleweight that was just too lazy to make 154 pounds. And, he wasn't dedicated or disciplined to the sport of boxing. He would blow up in weight and then have to, go into a fat loss camp to try and make weight for the fight. And he also hadn't fought, which I mentioned in the pre-fight video, he hadn't fought a high-level operator in quite some time. This is Billy Joe Saunders I'm talking about. So he went into that fight after fighting, almost a lot of British level guys for a while. He had some good victories in his career, but they were, quite a few years ago. And then he took a layoff out the ring and fought, a couple British level operators. So it was a big step up going into the Canelo Alvarez fight. He hadn't fought at that level, or at the top level of boxing in quite a while, and hadn't been dedicated to the sport of boxing. Whereas on the other hand, Caleb Plant, he's a guy that's extremely dedicated to the sport of boxing. You can't say that about Billy Joe Saunders, and I think that kind of let him down, because Billy Joe Saunders was giving Alvarez a lot of, trouble in there, but he started to slow down, in my opinion, and that's one of the reasons why he got caught with that shot, was because he was starting to slow down in the fight. He had to hold his feet a lot more in that fight than I think most people expected. His footwork, he wasn't as light on his feet as he was earlier in his career. And you could just see he wasn't moving as effortlessly as he used to. And, that forced him to have to sit in the pocket, where Canelo Alvarez is quite dangerous. Now, Billy Joe Saunders was doing well in the pocket with him. He was matching him in the pocket for the most part, but he doesn't have the power of Canelo Alvarez. So it's a dangerous game sitting in the pocket with a, a heavy power puncher and a good counter puncher like that. Whereas Caleb Plant, I don't think we're going to see him struggle to keep up the movement as much as Billy Joe Saunders did, because Billy Joe really, from the start of the fight, he wasn't moving too well and he was having to hold his feet. And I do think that's due to his inactivity and blowing up in weight, and also I think he was questioning his gas tank, and so he was trying to limit his movement because he didn't. And he said this in interviews past the fight, that he was worried that he might have to struggle with his gas tank down the back end of the fight if he used too much movement early in the fight. I don't think that's going to be an issue for Caleb Plant. He's much lighter on his feet even than Billy Joe Saunders, and he really is a true 168-pounder. So those are two challenges in itself for Canelo Alvarez that he didn't have in the last fight against Billy Joe Saunders. I think Caleb Plant also has a better jab than Billy Joe Saunders. I think he's probably got better defense than Saunders as well, especially defense and reflexes than Billy Joe Saunders at this point, because I feel like Billy Joe Saunders kind of let his his abilities and his talent erode a little bit through inactivity and lack of training and not being dedicated, whereas Caleb Plant, he's been in the gym and he's been fighting constantly. He's been active and he hasn't let himself get out of shape. So I can't overlook Caleb Plant in this fight. I think it's going to be a high-level boxing match. Both men have really good boxing IQs. Canelo Alvarez, it's documented. He's got one of the best, if not the best, resume in boxing. He's been in there with a lot of guys, but I'm still one of the guys that doubts or has doubts about Canelo Alvarez when he comes up against a guy that has good lateral movement, good legs and footwork, as well as a good jab, because I've seen him have problems with that throughout his career, and I haven't really seen him show me that he won't have problems with this type of fighter. And a lot of people point to the Billy Joe Saunders fight and say, well, he stopped Billy Joe Saunders. But like I just pointed out to you, that wasn't a prime Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders is also a lot smaller than Caleb Plant, and that definitely wasn't a prime Billy Joe Saunders. Let's just say that. I also think Caleb Plant is a step up from that, so I think he's going to have problems in this fight with Caleb Plant's movement and his jab and just overall boxing skills. Now, because Canelo Alvarez early in his career, he had a lot of problems with boxers like Lara, Floyd, Trout. Golovkin gave him a lot of trouble with the jab. I mean, because all those guys have an argument that they could have said that they beat Canelo Alvarez. Now, you saw Golovkin in the first fight. I thought he won that fight. Then in the rematch, I also thought Golovkin won that fight too with his jab and effective boxing movement, because he was able to kind of box circles around Canelo. Canelo couldn't put him on the ropes. He was applying pressure on Golovkin in that fight, but he was getting outlanded and outboxed. Golovkin's jab is one of the best jabs in boxing. Canelo couldn't cut the ring off on Golovkin. So Caleb Plant moves better than Golovkin. He's got a very fast, sharp jab. Might not be as a thudding jab as Golovkin's, because that's almost like a power shot. But Caleb Plant's very good defensively. Like I say, he moves probably better than Golovkin. Got a very fast, sharp jab. Very fast left hook as well. Lead left hook. He can lead with power shots. So he's unpredictable. He's not a typical 1-2 fighter. He's an unpredictable. He's got boxer. He's got the American style of boxing. Good reflexes. Can use a Philly shell. I think it's going to be a tough night's work for both men. This is to me a fight where Canelo Alvarez can prove, okay, he has developed so much throughout his career that he no longer has problems with good slick movers and boxers, because I've got an asterisk next to the Billy Joe Saunders fight due to Saunders, in my opinion, not being in his prime condition and also just not being dedicated to the sport of boxing. But throughout that fight, I still feel like he was causing Canelo a lot of problems. It was a very competitive fight. But in this fight, I'm expecting Canelo Alvarez to, apply pressure, both physical and mental pressure on Caleb Plant by using his feints, trying to go to the body. He's going to be coming forwards, trying to, out-strength and out-power Caleb Plant, trying to get closer to him, trying to go to Caleb Plant's body. He is definitely going to try and, hurt Caleb Plant to the body. But, Caleb Plant's got much faster feet because Canelo is very flat-footed and heavy on his feet. but very physically strong, good counterpuncher. You know, from the waist up, Canelo Alvarez might be, or it could be, the best from the waist up in boxing in terms of, you know, he really is a beast from the waist up. He can, you know, avoid punches, slip punches, catch and shoot. Very good counterpuncher, very good head movement and reflexes. But from the waist down, he's very, well, let me say, he's very, very limited. You know, he's got very slow feet, very flat-footed. So I think that's a big weakness for Canelo Alvarez, and Caleb Plant can definitely exploit that in this fight. But like I say, I'm expecting Canelo to apply pressure, try to go to the body. And overall, I think this is going to be a very competitive, tough fight. I think Plant's going to be on his back foot, boxing, using lateral movement, flicking his jab, you know, scoring points behind a jab, and, you know, trying to hit Canelo with lead power shots as well. Canelo's going to be setting his traps as well, trying to counter punch, trying to go to the body. I think it's going to be a very interesting and entertaining fight. I'm leaning towards Caleb Plant at the moment. Another thing that I'm appreciating from Caleb Plant in the build-up to this fight is the lack of fear or respect that he's showing Canelo Alvarez, because a lot of Canelo Alvarez opponents you see come over, I mean, you saw it from even Sergey Kovalev, Callum Smith, Avni Yildirim, all these guys coming over and just, you know, bowing down to Canelo, and he's the number one pound for pound in the sport. And I'm just so thankful and grateful to have the opportunity to get a payday and get in the ring with him. You know, they're not coming over with the mindset that they are better than Canelo and that they're here to beat Canelo. Caleb Plant's here with the mindset that he's the world champion. He's here to defend his belt and take Canelo's belts. And, you know, he believes that he is better than Canelo Alvarez. And you saw that at the press conference. I feel like he ruffled Canelo's feathers a little bit with the comments about Canelo Alvarez being a drug cheat and his whole training camp being full of drug cheats, with Oscar Valdez getting busted just the other week for, you know, he got popped, failed 2 tests, I believe, suffered no punishments, went ahead with the fight, retained his belts. So that's shocking. And Caleb Plant called that out, told Canelo, you failed a drug test positive for clenbuterol. And then also, you know, a lot of speculation about Andy Ruiz's weight loss transformation in such a short time after joining the Canelo Alvarez camp. So a lot of red flags in that camp when it comes to performance-enhancing drugs, and Caleb Plant pointed that out. I thought that really ruffled Canelo Alvarez's feathers. You saw he was very upset, you know, causing him to shove Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant then walked back over to him, threw a lead left hook slap, you know, that he just nicked Canelo's head with his fingers, and Canelo, you know, instincts kicked in. He threw a 2-piece combination, counter-punching, left hook, right hand. Left hook landed, I think, on Plant's glasses, which cut his cheek. And then Caleb Plant countered with a right hand to the body as well after that. So, I mean, both guys are extremely fast, extremely sharp. It was an extremely fast exchange. I had to actually put it on slow-mo to even see, you know, Caleb Plant throw the counter right hand to the body after getting caught with Canelo's counter punches. And yet, I mean, it almost looked like Caleb Plant missed his slap, but he nicked Canelo Alvarez, and then Canelo just instinctively threw that beautiful counter punch 2-piece combination. So, I mean, this is going to be a high-level boxing. I'm looking forward to this fight big time. And like I say, at the moment, I think it could be a fight of 2 halves. Caleb Plant, I think, is going to get off to a fast start using his jab when he's fresh. And I think Canelo Alvarez is going to be trying to study Caleb Plant for the first couple rounds, have a look at him using feints, trying to see what reactions, see how much Caleb Plant's biting on the feints, what his reaction is to the feints, and then start, you know, slowly inching forwards, trying to get to his body as well and try and slow him down and break him down that way. And then in the back end of the fight, I think he's really going to try and start to press Caleb Plant for a stoppage. But like I said, Caleb Plant looks to be in prime shape. Always comes in tip-top condition, unlike guys like Billy Joe Saunders and Kovalev that are living questionable athlete lifestyles outside the ring. Caleb Plant's not doing that, so I think he's going to come in prime shape. I think he'll be able to, survive maybe a tough last couple of rounds against Canelo Alvarez and make it to the cards. This is a PBC show, so he might actually be able to get a decision on the cards against Canelo Alvarez. At the moment, I'm leaning towards Caleb Plant to actually pull off the upset here. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this fight. Who you guys picking? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys again soon. Cheers.